Saif, welcome to Sunrise Radio. It's been a while. How are you?
Well, thank you. Nice to be on your show.
Likewise, nice to have you here. I think last time we met, this was, I think, when Sacred Games was releasing. You were in London and we were having a conversation. And I just remember how excited I was for Sacred Games. And it lived up to the hype, can I say? I can finally tell you. I absolutely loved it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, that was good. So, Saif, we're here to, of course, talk about Vikram Vedha. I mean, just tell us a little bit about the depth of your character in the film.
What do you mean, tell you about the depth of my... I will tell you what I play.
Yes.
A kind of a cop who is, it's a little questionable, his approach to what he does. I mean, he's, I think, definitely quite an extreme, let's say, beyond the right wing in terms of his outlook. And often takes the law into his own hands and is probably, yeah, quite questionable, some of the things he does. And the movie is based on these Indian folklore called Vikram Vedha, which is a series of stories about an interaction between a famous king and a vampire. And the vampire keeps telling him stories and affecting how the king feels about various things. And so the directors have just used that as a kind of a plot gimmick by getting Hrithik to play the supernatural kind of, let's call him the bad guy, mafia element. But is he really a bad guy? That's what the film looks at. And this cop who's a good guy, but is he really a good guy? And what makes people good and bad? And when the line gets blurred, you know, what's it all about? And nothing's what it seems. And you kind of question everything. And they're very interesting filmmakers. I mean, so I kind of start off literally wearing a white shirt. But by the end of it, the colors changed. It's gotten much more muddy, which reflects what happens in the story. And on one level, it's kind of a buddy action movie, which is really what we're selling. But on another level, it does make you think a little bit about right and wrong and that kind of morality slightly. So it's pretty, I mean, later on it gets quite deep for a Bollywood action movie, for sure. It's like, very different in that sense, because these guys are from the South for a start. So it's a different kind of movie. And it's something that a lot of us in Bollywood loved when the original came out.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time in the making. And I believe a lot of people tried to take the movie to make it, but they wouldn't let go of it. They said they want to make it their way. So they've got a lot of integrity to the story. And I think it'd be very interesting the way it comes out. So it's a buddy action movie with a mind.
I mean, and it sounds quite different, actually. I mean, it's nice that you're kind of telling me this, because from the trailers and from what we've seen, the teasers and the first look, it looks like an out-and-out action film. I mean, it sounds quite different. What made you say yes to this? I mean,
this is it, the script, and it's the kind of the fact that it's like a whodunit as well. I mean, it's like a cop procedural, like it's a person trying to figure out what's going on. And I like the layers it's written on. And it's very rare. It's got to be up there in the top 5 scripts I think I've ever read in all my time. But yeah, so it's one of those things that, you just keep doing things long enough, and eventually, panning in the river long enough, you might get a nugget of gold, that kind of thing. But it's a rare script, let me tell you. So anyone reading it would have jumped on it, because it's just that right mix.
Absolutely. And I mean, you and Hrithik together on screen, that is like a big treat for us. I mean, what is he like to work with? I mean, both of you, I would just love to see what it's like on set whilst you guys were filming.
Well, I mean, he's very committed. And I think, you know, I mean, I don't want to put words into his mouth. I get the impression that he's been considered so good looking, and kind of everyone calls him the Greek god of Indian cinema. I think he tries to kind of get away from that from time to time. And I think this is one of those times where, I mean, I've really learned quite a lot looking at him about makeup and how different is. So he's very committed, and I think he's more interested in performing and becoming somebody else and becoming something different to this. Of course, there's a, you know, that there's always that commercial superstar to his career, but I think once in a while he likes to get away from that, and this is a film which shows him in 3 different ages and stages. I'm doing good publicity for him here, I hope. It's really, you know, he's a very committed actor, deeply. I mean, we both are quite, I mean, we're passionate and mad about the whole thing. And so it was quite intense, really, and at many times. It was very tiring. And it was like, I mean, you're competing in a healthy way, but at the same time, you know, the standard was quite high. At least I felt so. And I felt it was exhausting in a sense, because it was high quality work for, you know, and it was, you know, gym and going to bed and dieting and then learning all these lines and doing all the action. And I think it shows that, you know, so he's great. He's great. He's committed, and you up your game when you kind of work with him, because just the standard feels very high on set. I mean, we did a fight sequence where I had to punch him a bit because my character is really upset with his, and he's taking it. But it was ridiculous what he put himself through in the rain. I mean, he really threw himself around. And I believe he's, you know, broken a lot of things from his skull to his neck to his shoulder and knees. And I'm not really surprised, having worked with him, because he kind of really literally throws, you know, everything into almost every shot. So he's great, you know.
Yeah. And Saif, let's talk about the music. I mean, we've only had one song at the moment, Alcoholia. Is there anything else that we can expect? Are there any more songs from the movie?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But it's not really a kind of a song movie, you know, I have to say.
Yeah.
There's some music, and you have the kind of mandatory, I mean, I think if you've got Hrithik in a film and he doesn't dance, it would be a bad idea for most people. So it's almost mandatory. So it's kind of there. But apart from that, there is music. But it's not one of those movies where, you know, you're like, wow, the music of Vikram Vedha, I think.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think it's really that kind of movie. So I think it's fine. I think it's more the plot and it's like a noir. Is that too much? Neo-noir thriller. It's a bit too much, but it sounds just borderline pseudo-intellectual, but it is kind of that. It's a whodunit, but in a very new way, you know.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. And I think that should be the focus, right? Like you said, it's not a very music kind of a film.
Because sometimes you put in 5 songs or 4 songs because you try and tick all the boxes, and you're neither here nor there, and it doesn't really work, you know. And too many songs can, you know, can spoil things that could be leaner in terms of a story.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, Saif, thank you so much. I have to rush because I have a live radio show that I'm literally about to start. So thank you so much for having taken the time out and speaking to us. I really look forward to the movie. It's looking really good. I really looking forward to seeing the Saif and Hrithik on screen. So good luck.
It will be fun. All right. Thanks, dear.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.